Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at a really weird deck that has popped up in Japan and also LDF featured. Obviously I've done a few changes to the list, but we'll go over that once we get into the deck list. And today we're going to be taking a look at Gholdengo Tera box. Two archetypes that I never thought would work together, but for some reason do. So as per usual, in the description below is going to be usual links, double the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play, and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. Sorry for me sounding a bit croaky. Again, I'm still not over this cold. It's been kicking my ass for the last week, so that's been pretty fun. It's been my Christmas gift, if that wasn't obvious. So, Gholdengo EX, obviously we've covered quite a few times, and well, I must admit, the moment I saw this on Pokebook, well, let's put it this way. I saw this on Pokebook and I was like, what the heck is this? I thought it was another one of those, as I like to call them, Japanese piles, as I like to infinitely name them. But after, playing a few games, you know, and obviously trying the deck out a little bit more, it actually started to make sense, what this archetype was. Now, I did try making my own spicy version, but unfortunately it was a little bit too clunky. I tried to make it more of a conventional Tera box, and I added in just a 2-2 Gholdengo line as the big heavy hitter. We had Tealmass for draw, Wellspring for obviously doing shenanigans, energy switch, you know, we had all that sort of stuff and more while, but I didn't end up going forward with it because this version just felt more consistent. Which, to be honest, I say more consistent, it just felt like this version hits a little bit harder, and there's going to be a few reasons for that. Obviously, we already know what Gholdengo does. He has the ability to coin bonus. Once during your turn, you may draw a card. If this Pokemon is in the active spot, draw one more card, and of course, we know what Make It Rain does. It's all over the format right now. But obviously, we do play 2 copies of the Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. Now, in my version, you played 2 Wellsprings, and you played 2 Tealmass Ogerpons, and you played a Terapagos. It was quite spicy, but in testing, it just wasn't very consistent, because I had to switch in, I had to put in more cards to help with the Dengo, and obviously I had to play more energy. It just felt too clunky. But I've also added in a Moltres from the Phantasmal Flames, which, of course, we are playing Fire Energy in this list, so it just felt like a no-brainer, and also it gives us an easier time against, you know, Venusaur and stuff like that, Gusting and stuff. And, well, Moltres is a pretty good single-price attacker against the X's anyway, so I thought, why not? Now, unfortunately, we don't play a damage mod to make this very good in the mirror, which would be really nice, but, well, I'm sure I'm sure we can add in something that can obviously make that relevant. But, obviously, Moltres is a pretty good card, and, well, the original list didn't play one, so I decided to add one in. Otherwise, I've not really, changed the list up too much, you know, more while still in here for, our Gholdengo, our cornerstone answer. And obviously we do have Gobble Down as an option with, Crispin and stuff like that. We can obviously Crispin and then manually attach a metal from hand. You know, we do have a lot of options here, but as you'll see in the deck list, this deck continues to be quite spicy. Obviously, we do have a Terapagos in here as an extra cornerstone answer, because obviously we can play Crispin and just go Unified Beatdown. But honestly, this list felt really fun to play, and hopefully I can make it do some work for you. So, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. So, as I said, I've not done a huge amount of changes from the original list, because never really felt the need to. The main things that I've done is obviously added in the Moltres and things like that. And I must admit, it feels weird playing a Gholdengo deck with only 3 superior. But I'll be honest, this list doesn't really need to worry about that. It also feels weird playing a Tera box with only 2 Crispin, but obviously because Dengo is going to be the one pulling most of the weight, it feels fine, because obviously Crispin's only here for the Wellspring, and obviously Wellspring can only get us so far in matchups. And in some cases, Wellspring won't get us anything because they just put that a shame in. But honestly, you know, this list has felt pretty fun so far, so, you know, I didn't need to do too much changes to it. So obviously we played 3 Gimmighouls, 3 Gholdengos, 3 Hoothoots, 3 Noctowls, 2 Wellsprings, 1 Genesect for our Gholdengos, because, well, you know, we might as well play something that helps us get a bit more consistency. Playing a Mew as well, Latias, 1 Fan Rotom, which I think is acceptable given our lower Hoothoot Noctowl line. Then of course Fez, Terapagos, Mawile, and the Moltres, which I've added in. Then we're playing 3 Boss, 2 Crispin, and 1 Turo, as well as a Firebreather, because obviously we are primarily using Fire Energy to obviously increase our Gholdengo's damage. Now I have done a video on the Firebreather variant, so if you do want to go and check that out, I'll leave it in the description below. It's a pretty good variant. Obviously I do think it has flaws, because you know, you don't play Fighting Energy, excuse me, you don't play Fire Energy, so you don't have, well, Fighting Energy I should say, so you don't have the Dengo draw or the Lunar Rock draw, which is kind of bad for it, but it felt okay to play in my list, to be fair. Then of course we're playing 4 Nest Ball, 3 Superior, which feels criminal in this list, but you know what, I literally don't have a complaint about this. This actually feels fine in this list. 2 Body Poffin, 1 Super Rod, 1 Earthen Vessel, 1 Switch, 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Letter of Encouragement. Now this is a card I've never featured on this channel before. You can only use this card if one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards, can be any type, reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Think of this as like an Earthen Vessel but on steroids, and you don't have to discard a card, so it's actually a pretty good card and it makes sense why it's in here. Plus, it's the first time we're actually featuring this card on the channel, and will be the last time this card is featured on the channel because this rotates in April. Then of course we're playing 1 Night Stretcher, 2 Air Balloon, 1 Sparking Crystal as a race spec. This is mainly for the Tera Pokemon. Then of course 2 Area Zero, which you could bump to 3, like I think LDF mentioned it. I've not really felt the need to. Then of course 7 basic Fire Energy, 3 Metal Energy, and 1 Water Energy just for the Wellspring. This honestly has felt a really interesting archetype, and you know, like, it has a lot of legs, I think. I just think it's trying, as I normally say about these sort of Japanese piles, it's trying to do too much. Now, it's one of those that actually does it okay, as in, like, it can do a lot of those things well and does it okay, but I must admit, it just feels like, you know, it's trying to do too much. Now, in testing, this deck has actually worked pretty okay. I'm still getting used to the, you know, like the synergy and stuff like that, and like the sequencing and all that jazz. But honestly, this deck has been really fun to play, and to be honest, it's worth trying. So let's give it a try for a video, and let's get into a match. And welcome to the first game. I'm looking forward to seeing how this deck does, because I've not played a huge amount of it, but like, it's a combination archetype which I never thought would exist, because, you know, it feels counterintuitive, you know, like Terabox normally plays like, what, 8-9 energy? And well, sometimes 10, it depends on the deck. But it just feels like, you know, like playing 11 with the Dengo stuff just feels really weird, and we're actually going to go first, because this archetype does like to go first. But yeah, it just feels really awkward, you know, like trying to like understand it all. But once you start to like piece it together in your mind, it actually does make a lot of sense. And starting the Wellspring is really good, that I will say. And a Duskull, that's what we like to see. Well, there's a Superior off the top, so we're going to go for a Buddy Poffin. We'll grab a Fan Rotom. In fact, no. I'm going to Fan Rotom later. I'm just going to get 2 Gimmighouls down so that I can get them established, because then I can Nest Ball for Fan. Then we can obviously do the thing with Fan and all that jazz. I think that's correct for sequencing anyway. So then we'll Nest Ball, grab ourselves the Fan. Let's do a quick prize check before we do that. So we're not prized any Hoothoot, so that's good. Got the Moltres and the Terapagos in there. We're not prized any Dengo, not prized any Noctowl, so that's good. We've got the Crystal in there, so that's good. We have prized 1 Fire and 1 Metal, but I can live with that. And then we will Fan Call. Grab 2 Hoots and a Noct. Bench. Bench. Attach. Pass. Easy peasy. And the Water Energy was in there as well, so we can even go Crispin. Which, to be honest, I don't think I want to do that. The correct move would definitely be to go Noctowl for, you know, like, well, I think we might not have a chop. Then again, no, we could just grab Area Zero, so I don't really care. But going for that just feels kind of rough. Oh, and there's an Iono anyway, so there's that plan out window. Okay, we still get there with Crispin, so that's at least something. He does get another Dreepy established, but I would love to see a top deck of Noctowl. There's a Luminous to retreat the Duskull. And itchy, itchy, itchy. I'm kind of glad we didn't draw into 2 Metal Energy, because that means our Crispin would have been offline. Well, no, it wouldn't have been, but it would have been quite awkward. So let's go for the Crispin. We'll grab the Water Energy and a Metal. We'll take the Metal to hand, put the Water on the Wellspring. We can then attach the Fire to the Wellspring, and we will Torrential Pump. Now, I'm actually debating not shuffling this energy in. I can take 2 prizes here, but I don't think it's correct. I'm just going to do the 100. There's a reason why I'm doing that. I think it will work out in our favour if I do that. Because realistically, how likely is it they're going to have Rare Candy, Dragapult, Neo Upper in that 4-card hand? It's very unlikely. That's why I'm not shuffling the energy back in, because then that means we have to use more resources, and I don't really want to do that. Plus, as well, it means we can get a manual attachment onto one of our gimmies for later. But no, this archetype has been, like, really fun to test, and I'm kind of impressed with it, you know, like, the whole idea of it and everything. But, you know, it's one of those archetypes that you don't really think about. And, you know, like, it has a lot of legs when you think about it, but at the same time, it's one of those that, you know, it has a lot of legs anyway because of the, you know, the synergy, and obviously, you know, Noctowl can grab you stuff, which is really nice. Now, they're definitely whiffing because they've just evolved the active and the bench to Cloaks. So if they don't get another Dreepy down, they're losing both. Which is why I didn't do that shuffle attack. I didn't do it because I knew that was going to happen. There's a Buddy Poffin, so that's pretty good for them. But we can take 2 prizes here, take out both Cloaks, which is really nice. Although, if they have an energy attachment, they can go into Badoo, which does delay my plans a little bit. But even if we're just taking out 1 Cloak, that hugely benefits us. And they have to attach Retreat to actually do it. So again, that just feels really good for us. And this is where I will do the shuffle attack. And there's the itchy, itchy, itchy. Well, that solves that problem, don't it? Get back here, you little Cloak. And we will Torrential Pump. Shuffle the energy back in. And take out that bloody Cloak. Bye-bye. Get back to the discard pile for me. That was a beautiful top deck, honestly. And there's Air Balloon and Fire. That's pretty good. We can go into Fan, which is pretty nice. We can go attach to Fan and then retreat with the Air Balloon, so that's pretty good. My opponent is probably going to be very angry with us, but, well, it's worth it, you know. The only way this would get better is with top deck Noctowl, and we can get Crystal plus... what is it? We can get Crystal plus Ultra... In fact, no, we've used our Ultra Ball, haven't we? No, we haven't. And I believe it was in deck, so that could be something. They're actually attaching to the Cloak this time. My tongue just twisted then. Counter Catcher. That's fine. We have Air Balloon in hand. And there's the Itchy again. That's fine. Not worried about that in the slightest. And well, that just guarantees the attack, doesn't it? So we'll do that. We'll go into the Fan. Oh yeah, my Jamming Tower's offline, you dingleberry. Oh well. I could have gone Triple Stab, but I forgot about the Jamming Tower. It's fine. Like, if they do get a Phantom Dive off, that just feels bad, but still. I mean, we didn't take a knockout, so they don't get the Fez draw, which is nice. But we are at least threatening the Fan, which is nice. There's Dawn, so they can get it. They're not attached for turn, at least. I say at least, that's bad for us. And if they take out both Hoots, we could be in a bad spot. Kind of hoping they don't, but they probably will. But if they do that, they risk losing. And there's the Itchy Pollen. Okay, so they don't have it yet. That is fine. Ooh, boss. Ooh. I could Gust Dusclops and force them to have an out, which could be pretty good. Well, I'm definitely going to attach here, I know that much. It's just a question of, do I Gust a Dreepy? Take that out, cut off some extra draw? Or do I just deal with a Badoo? Because Badoo's obviously going to be a thorn in my arse the whole time. I think I just take out Badoo and save the boss. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Assault landing for 70, and that's job done. So now we're down to 2 prizes. So they can still Dusclops, but then they lose to a boss. So they need to do something here. There's another Dracloak. I kind of wish I did Gustadreepy now. I didn't know they had that. There's the Iono, so that feels kind of bad, especially with Fez in hand, but they should easily get an attack off this turn. Easily. And there's Nest Ball to shuffle the deck with Fez. So that's good. That's good for us. Now, it's just a question of, are they going to pop the Clops? Because they could lose if they do that. And to be fair, they could lose if I get, you know, something going off here. There's a Dust Noir. They could use Dust Noir. Because if they do Dust Noir to the Wellspring, they can then take 3 prizes, because that is just enough. Because it's 120 plus 130 plus the 60 from the pole. They're retreating. Oh, that feels rough for you, my friend. Oh, that feels rough. Oh, I don't like that. I really don't like that. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that, my friend. But, I mean, you don't have many options here, I'll be honest. Now, did they recover that Dragapult? They did. So even if I go for the Sob Lock, they can still do it. There's the Neo Upper for that pull. Ooh, that's really good. Do we have game here? I'm just trying to think if we have game here. I don't think we realistically do, but there could be a world in which we do. Let's evolve that one, so that way we'll at least have that protected. Jewel Seeker. I don't think I have game here, because boss gets me what I can get, but, you know, I can't do anything right now. Crystal doesn't really get me anywhere. I mean, I can put pressure on the Dust Noir, I guess. I can also, like, gust the Dust Noir and then sob it, force him to use the explosive, so to speak. But I don't really want to do that, because then that gives me a bad time. So what I'm thinking is I take Area 0, so that way my air balloon is more online. And then I take probably Nest Ball, so I can get Genesect down. I already have a Nest Ball in hand, but I can thin more with the Genesect. So then we'll play the Nest Ball, get the Genesect down. I can then Nest Ball again, get another Tera down, which will be Terapagos, because it's a bit bulkier. And then I can Metallic Signal and thin the deck further. Grab 2 Dengos and get these guys evolved. So then we'll go coin bonus. That's good to see. I could retreat into. I could have retreated into that, but obviously there's no guarantee I get this attack off, which is why I didn't want to do it. There's Switch. That's useful. So I'm going to Super Rod some energy back. Well, 1 energy apparently. Do I swing here? Realistically, I don't think it's worth it. But then again, they're highly unlikely playing Neo Upper. Well, no, not Neo Upper. Monkey Dory. So yeah, I'll just swing. I'll just swing. I mean, there's no harm in swinging. There's no reason for me to go into Dengo, because obviously I don't have the energy. But we could still get there. Obviously, with Firebreather being in our last prize cards, this could get pretty awkward. Because obviously, for those that didn't know it, Firebreather was not in the deck. But obviously, he needs to now retreat this Dracloak, which obviously, without Latias being available as an option, because obviously this is a Stage 1 Pokemon, this could get pretty awkward for my opponent. But obviously, we have a long way to go before we're taking out this pole. That's fine, they can do that. Now, are they going to pop the Noir? Because if they do, I could win. I could win because of that. And there's Lilies. We could even gust this Dragapult for game. I'm really hoping they actually don't, because that would be a horrible mistake if they do that. Counter Catcher, probably take out the... No! They're going for the Genesect. This just feels really rough. Okay, that's fine. So you're bumping my stadium, that's fine. I'll get rid of Noctowl, and I will get rid of Fan Rotom. That way we still have the Hoothoot engine established. I don't agree with this play. I think you're making a terrible mistake going for the Genesect, because I can thin a further card with my Genesect. They are going to take out the Hoothoot. That's fine. We can deal with that. I think they're making a horrible mistake, though. This just feels really rough. Taking out the Hoothoot is fine here, because, you know, it does get them a prize card. But, I don't know, Chief. I think this feels rough. I mean, fair enough, they don't know I have Switch in hand, but that's irrelevant. Even if I didn't, you know, you're giving me a bench space for Latias. And, well, we thin that anyway, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Metallic Signal to shuffle the deck. I'll then switch into the Dengo with the Metal Energy. Coin bonus. There's a Letter of Encouragement, so that does get us pretty close. So a Letter of Encouragement. Get some fires out. Coin bonus. There's Crystal. That doesn't really help us right now, though. We are we're 2 energy off of taking out his pole. If I do attack it, it's not the end of the world, because they can go for a 4-prize turn, but then I just kill this pole and win. They don't have any other energy established. But then again, they do have Dust Noir, so they could go for... Do they have game here? I don't think they do. They're damage kind of short. Well, they're 2, actually. So I think, based off of my observation, I just go for the Make It Rain. And discard 4. Because, like I said, if they pop the Noir, they kind of just lose. Like, yeah, they can do, you know, ping here. You know, they can counter... In fact, no, do they have game with that? No. They would need double Noir, but I'm on 2 prize cards. They can't do it. And there's the Lilies. I probably should have thinned the Crystal onto, like, the Wellspring or something. You know, like, threaten a late-game Wellspring or something, but I don't think it's correct to do so. At least that gives me discard fodder. They have to take out something here, but they can't leave this Dengo alive. I think that's what they're going to do. And yep, they're doing it. They're going for the Dengo. That's fine. So they don't take a prize card here, which is key. And there's the Firebreather, so that's guaranteeing game. Phantom Dive, take out the Genesect. They're taking 4 prizes, but it's not enough. We have game with the Superior. Because all we need to do is just get back this Metal Energy that's on this Dengo, attach, and then that's the end of that. So that's game against Paul. That was close, though. I'm not going to deny that, but ultimately, them not hand disrupting us means we do have game in hand. And I'm not going to waste my opponent's time. I'm just going to show this, do this, and this. Mouse got a little bit stuck there. So I'll grab these back, attach to the Dengo, then Make It Rain for 150, and take game. That was really close, but thanks to the Tera package and obviously using Wellspring correctly, we was able to win that matchup, so that went really smoothly. Did get a little bit dicey towards the end, but we was able to take the win thanks to not only strategic play, but also the fact that we only had 2 prizes that we couldn't directly be one-shot with. But no, not a bad match. Let's go to a game 2. And welcome back to game 2. We got advanced to Greninja rank. I do need to start climbing the ladder. I've not really done it. You know, like obviously in the last video with the Clefairy Iron Valiant, we got some wins and everything. And well, we started off with a win, which probably means we're going to get a loss. But that's just PTC's life for you. But no, I think that went pretty well. You know, like going against Dragapult there, like obviously we did have it pretty tough, but we was able to take the win there, which does feel kind of good. And we're starting with Mew, and that's not bad at all. I do like seeing a Mew, that's for sure. I would say I am amused by it, but, well, I'll spare you the dad jokes for today. Although that was a pretty good one. So we'll go for 2 gimmies. Let's have a quick look at the prizes. So we've got 1 Noct in hand, that's fine. Moltres is in there, that's fine. We've got a Crispin in the prizes, but I'm not going to sleep or lose sleep over that. Firebreather's in the deck, that's what we want. That's pretty good. How many Fire Energy have prized? We've prized 1, and we've also prized the Water, but that's fine. Did I see Crystal in there? I honestly didn't even look for Crystal, so we'll do that. We'll grab Fan, and then we'll have a quick double check. I didn't see it in there. Oh, it is in there. Okay, that's fine. I genuinely was not looking for it. I was not looking for it. So just thin these bad boys out. Get you down. And pass. Let's see what we're facing against. Obviously, Badoo is in a lot of decks, so I am not exactly going to base it just off Badoo, but if they don't do any actions, or if they are bricking, which, well, judging by that are, then they are not. Secret Box, Technical Machine Evolution. What do we have here, then? Secret Box is in quite a few archetypes. But I'm getting a whiff of Grimmsnarl. I will say. I'm getting a whiff. A strong, pungent whiff. Not just because of the sleeves. But I'm getting a strong, pungent whiff of Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Yep, I'm correct. I was getting a strong, pungent whiff. You know, because Secret Box is primarily played in, you know, that deck. So, I was going to say, if that's your only other Pokemon, mate, you're getting Wellspring. I mean, you're getting Wellspring regardless, but... Oh, he's going a bit greedy. He's only putting one Impidimp down. Let's see if he does the typical Grimmsnarl thing, grab... I was going to say, I thought he was just going to grab, like, you know, Grimmsnarl to, like, basically threaten it immediately. No, but he is going to go for the Itchy Pollen. Which is fine by me. Because now... we can Noctowl. And because we have a Tera Pokemon in play, we can just go straight for this. So we'll go Stall, Crispin. Do that. Touch. Retreat. Into the Wellspring. Torrential Pump. Now, the question is, do I take out an Impidimp or do I take out a Snorunt? Because Snorunt will be a thorn in my arse this whole game, but so will Monkey Dory. I'll just take out an Impidimp. I don't think it hugely matters, because like either way, I have to deal with Snowrunts. But that is my only Crispin, unless we get one here. Which we do not, but that's fine. And he's immediately promoting Impidimp, which probably smells rare candy, into Grimmsnarl. And yep, because this deck always seems to have it. Told ya. This deck always has a Grimmsnarl. Like, genuinely, this deck always has access. They only play 2 candy, like, genuinely, they only play it. And an Iono, that's completely fine, because this hand was kind of dead, I'll be honest. There's an Area 0 and a Dengo, so that feels pretty good. We're not going to be getting a knockout on this Grimmsnarl unless we get Firebreather, which would be really nice. If they don't have the counter catcher for Mew, that also feels kind of good. And they're bumping that for Artisan, that's fine. Yeah, they're not happy with my first turn. Or my second turn, I should say. There's the counter catcher, so they do have it for the Mew. That's fine. Does mean we get extra value off of this Dengo, because I can promote a Gimmighoul and go from there. I'm gonna promote this one that's damaged, because obviously we're gonna evolve it into a Dengo, so I'm not too worried about that. Now that is pretty good. So we'll bump you. Go for a Poffin, so we can grab ourselves 2 Hootoots. Although, I'm gonna split it. I don't need to like prioritize Hootoots here, because obviously you can potentially go Monkey Dory onto Wellspring later. So we will Nest Ball. Oh, Genesect prize. Okay, that's fine. Not a big deal, but it could matter later. I think for now I just get another Wellspring down, just so I have it. Oh, the game's frozen. Wonderful. We love this client and everything like that. So just give it a moment, because, you know, there we go. So then we will evolve straight into Dengo. Coin bonus. Not bad, but we're not getting much damage off, I will say. Is it even worth to attack here? Because they can just go attach here and then Monkey Dory back. I don't think it is. I'm just going to pass. I don't think it's correct to attack here. There's no point me attaching to the Gholdengo and then obviously, you know, going for the 50, because, like I said, they can just go Adrenabrain twice, take out this Dengo, and then we're in a really bad position. There's a Morgrim, that's fine. Not too worried about the Morgrim. I'm hoping we can potentially find something. They're going for a boss onto the Wellspring. Okay, interesting. Not the line I thought. I suppose you can go... Well, again, no, you can't even do that. You can't 30 the Wellspring on the bench. Interesting maneuver, I will say. Okay, that feels kind of rough, but we can attach Retreat at least into the Dengo. So we need Firebreather, preferably. That's not it, Chief, I will say. That is not it. Because if I hit this Dengo, well, this Grimmsnarl, I just don't benefit from it. Whiffing the Noctowl there is actually biting us in the blooming arse. I think realistically, we just don't win, because if I hit this, he just goes Monkey Door into this and then we die, and he takes out the Wellspring on the bench for the other monkey. So yeah, I'm just going to concede. I don't win from here, so I'm not going to waste my opponent's time or mine. I'll just go to game 3. And well, all I'll say is, in testing, my variant absolutely cleaned the clock of Grimmsnarl, but obviously this variant doesn't play grass attackers or anything like that. Oh well, you know, I could try, like, remaking my variant, because obviously I got rid of it after, like, a bit of testing. I put a couple of hours into each deck. So for those that are curious, I was playing, as I said, 2 Tealmask Ogerpon, 2 Wellspring, I was playing a Terapagos. I even had, as a spicy attacker, a singular Lily Scofaria with a singular Psychic Energy. Yeah, it was not a great deck, but, you know, it was spicy. It played a 2/2 line of Dengo, as I said in the intro part. I've got Charizard with Jet Energy, so this is Dawnzard. Excuse me. This cold is now in my chest, which I hate having a cold that goes to my chest, but unfortunately I don't get to win in that regard. Duskull, Fan Rotom. Can't ask for a better start for my opponent, I guess. We can at least go for a Sob on the Duskull, so that's at least something, I guess. Hoothoot Pidgey Noctowl, not bad. Anything else, or is it just that? Because if you ain't got a Charmander down, that feels kind of rough. Fan Rotom for a potential 70, I can live with. Not a bad top deck, we will take it. So let's go for a Buddy-Buddy Poffin. We'll grab ourselves a Fan and a Gimme. We'll do the prize check once we Fan Rotom, it's just easier that way. Fan Call, so we'll grab you and you two. So we've got the Genesect in there. We have prized no Dengos, which is good. Okay, well, obviously Wellspring is in the active, so we don't need to worry about that. We have got a boss in the prizes. How many fire energy do we have in the prizes, though? 1, which is not too bad. We've got Area 0 in there, Crystal in there. Yeah, that seems okay to me. So then I will just attach to the Wellspring, and I will Sob. Sob isn't hugely relevant here, but it's just to delay them a little bit, because if they're going to start putting Charmanders down, I could just go Noctowl, Jewel Seeker, Crystal, plus, you know, Boss. I can then attach from hand, take out the Troublemakers and go from there. And with them putting down Terapagos, that feels kind of good. So I'm just taking a quick drink there. My throat is is all right. It's mainly my chest, like my lungs and everything like that. Ever since I had COVID for the first time, because I've had COVID 3 times and I've had 3 jabs. That tells you how crap they were. Every time I get a cold, I get it in my chest, which, you know, it's annoying, but just something you deal with. Rare Candy Area 0, so that probably means I've got Rare Candy Pidgeot in hand. You wouldn't have a reason to grab that if you didn't. Because then you can go Area 0, Rare Candy into Pidgeot, probably go Buddy Poffin, set up some more Charmanders. And yep, there it is. Because you don't exactly want to do Rare Candy Dust Noir, do you? I mean, you could. Wouldn't be very good for you, but you could. But no, those double Noctowls in hand feel really good right now. There's Quick Search. I'm surprised they're not putting the Area 0. I suppose it's because Area 0 benefits me as well. You know, like, he's forcing me to find it. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about my opponent's decision making here. Prime Catcher? Okay, yeah, I see the reasoning here. I don't agree with it, but we will gloss over that. That's not the attack I thought you was going to go for, and you've not even benched another Pokemon that can be a threat to me. So I'm not sure how I feel about that, but still, we will gloss over that. So we will go straight for a Noctowl. I don't agree with my opponent's decision there, I will say, but, well, at the end of the day, I'm not piloting his deck, am I? So then we can go Nest Ball as well. So we'll go you, because I want you back in the deck. Bench the Fez, just so we have an extra draw, and we will flip the script. It's pretty good. Now we can get some more gimmies established. I could shuffle that one back in, but it's not worth the extra hassle, I'll be honest. I'm not also going to use my second Noctowl. I have no reason to. Same with this Letter of Encouragement. I, again, have no reason to. So I'm just going to take out Fan and Charmander and see how they do with that, because they have no way of getting energy onto this Terapagos easily. So, you know, I literally could not care less what my opponent's doing. You know, like, you can take a single prize by one Gimmighoul, and I can care less. But when I'm taking out your primary attacker and your secondary attacker, you know, not a lot you're doing here, Chief. Unless you play Crispin in your deck, which you're not, because you're playing Dawn for turn, you know, I don't really see where the benefit comes, you know? Like, I'm not really seeing where my opponent is going to get an attack off this turn, so that's why I went for that attack. There's Dust Noir. They could do a Dust Noir this turn, but again, that doesn't hugely benefit them. And I can boss Noctowl, then start sobbing it until I can take out something else on the bench. There's their Fez, so that's fine. There's Fez for 3, so that's fine. We can live with that. There's another Charmander. Like I say, I can just take my time here. Like, obviously, they do have Jet Energy, so that is something I need to consider. So that's probably actually a bad play. Bossing the Noctowl here, but it's only because I thought of it, but then I was like, they play Quad Jet most likely, so that's probably a bad idea. And they're choosing a new active, so they are retreating, but I'm not sure what they're going to give me. They're going to give me Noctowl, okay, that's fine. Does mean we get extra value off the Wellspring, because obviously we can go Noctowl for Crispin. We could also grab Nest Ball for Genesect, but then again, I don't need Genesect. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to Noctowl, Dual Seed for Crispin, and go from there. I'm not hugely worried. So, you know, I'm not worried at this point, because my opponent literally is doing nothing that concerns me right now, you know? The only thing that would be concerned is if they hand disrupted us, but I can play around that, you know? I can put Mew down, I can, you know, Nest Ball for stuff. I'm probably going to grab Latias here, just so I have it. Because I have the Dengos in hand, so I'm going to evolve them now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. We've got the one gimme in there, but again, I'm not bothered about that. So we'll just go for the Crispin. Grab you and you. It doesn't matter which order we do this. I'm actually going to keep the water in hand. I'm going to put double fire back in the deck, because that just feels better. And yeah, we will just Torrential Pump again. Now, do I want to take out Charmander, or do I want to take out Duskull? Specifically this Charmander, because it has a fire energy on it. I think because of the potential of him taking a 3-price turn, I take out the Duskull here. I'm not worried about the Charmanders. I just need boss for game, or I need 7 energy to take out a Zard. So, bring it on, my friend, is all I'll say. I'd rather take out something that is more of a threat. I'm not scared of Zard right now. Zard is the least of my problems. I'm not worried about a Zard coming in. If he wants to Iona me to 2, take out Wellspring, you do that, my friend. You genuinely do that. I could care less. There's Night Stretcher. Grab back what? Was that a Hoothoot? Yeah, it was. I thought it was. Because normally Like, because PTCG Live doesn't actually show you it, it just assumes you can see the card fast enough. I assumed it was Noct or the Hoothoot, but it's fine. They're probably going to go Iono here. Rare Candy, Darkzard, into the active, that's fine. Infernal Rain. If they don't hand disrupt me here, we just win on the spot. Because we can go Letter of Encouragement, you know, we can do that thing. Like, we can do a lot here. And even then, I don't have to take out this Zard. I can just go around it. I can go for Terapagos or Fez. So they have to hand disrupt me here. And judging by their quick search, it was probably for that candy. Do they have the Iono is my question. If they do, they do. I'm not hugely worried. We could also win with Crispin onto Mawile. Mawile plus manual attachment of metal. In fact, no, we're going to do 320, so we'd have to go for the Pidgeot or any of his other two prizes. I don't think he has the Iono. There it is. He's proven me wrong. Iono to 2. Terapagos and Fire, that's okay. We can thin with Terapagos onto the bench. So that is fine. Because I can go Terapagos, Mew for 2. Because I don't want to attach, obviously, because, you know, I can't. I have to attach a metal to my Gholdengo. Could you imagine if Gholdengo was a colourless energy? It'd be so stupid. Like, singular colours. And to be honest, we was actually having this discussion at a locals, like, how dumb Dengo actually is. A singular metal attachment and you could just have infinite damage. It's actually kind of crazy. Obviously, now because that's already Tera, we do have to discard Pokemon. But, luckily, I don't care. I just get rid of my liabilities. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Mew first. Because I can put Terapagos down and potentially thin this hand a little bit further. That's good. That's what we want to see. So now I'll put this here just so I have that. I'm going to Mew for 2 first. Okay. Then the correct sequence is to go into the... go with the air balloon here. So then we will coin bonus. There's Superior, there's a Fire. Okay, that's good. And then we then go again. That's 4. Come on, give me it. Oh, do we get there? No, we are a little bit short. But I can do this. So if I hit this for, what, 250? Then they could play Turo. They could play Turo. I could go Night Stretcher for one of those Hootoots back. That could be something. I think I'll do that, just so I have the extra option. Because then, even then, I can't do 250 anyway, because, you know, I can't attack. Let's see what they do. I'm going to try and bluff them here, essentially, because I need to find a Metal Energy. That's why I can't attack. I can't attack without a Metal Energy. Now, of course, if they do put these Fires at the bottom of the deck, they're actually benefiting us because we can draw into Firebreather. Oh, you are joking me. You had the Briar? Who is playing Briar in this economy? Didn't think about Briar, but, well, not a lot of options you can do when, you know, they Iono you and then they just have quick search Briar. I mean, who the heck is playing Briar in this economy? Apart from a Ceruledge player, you know. Like, why is Zard playing Briar? But, well, I'll take that L. Let's go to game 3. And welcome back to game 4, not 3, because Joe again forgot. I must admit, I was not prepared for that Briar, but, well, I guess Zard is playing it just to, you know, keep up in the prize race, I guess, which makes sense, but I don't think you need Briar, because, like, Darkzard already does the job on most matchups anyway, so I genuinely don't think you need to play Briar, but hey, keeps people in a job, I guess. But no, this hand is kind of bad, I will say, because, well, we have Noctowl, but we don't have a Tera in hand, nor do we have a way to get a Gimmighoul down. And judging by the sleeves, although I'm not going to, like, you know, associate it, okay, that's not what I was expecting because of the sleeves, but that is a Dark-type Pokemon. So we'll bench this, attach to the Mew, pass. Because at least I can go Dark Feather for 110, you know? I can Genome Hacking, copy that. Risky Ruins. Okay. Ultra Ball, Boss, and Dark Energy. What the heck are you playing? Kang? But why would you play Kang with Risky Ruins? That defeats the purpose of Kang, does it not? Clutch for 40. Sure. I'm going to Dark Feather your ass. And well, that's just one way to guarantee it, I guess. We're going for it. I'm going to attach fires because obviously I'll want these back later. And we were genome hacking. Copy Dark Feather. Yeah, get out of here, Yveltal. Bye-bye. I never thought I'd see the day I'm copying Dark Feather off of Yveltal. But hey, you know, it's an attack. It is a valid attack. It's just not a very good one, but, you know. We can also copy Kang's Mega Fire, well, Rapid Fire combo, which is pretty nice. I didn't say Mega Fire of Envy then. I was like, huh? That's not the right card. Countercatcher Iono. You're countercatching the Pokemon with the least retreat cost on my board. That isn't Mew. I mean, you gotta have a hobby, I guess. Here's Risky Ruins, that's fine. Nest Ball. Why is my opponent playing? Because you don't play Risky Ruins for Kang. That just doesn't make sense. Toxel? Huh? Okay. Surely you retreat the Kang in case I get double heads, but I mean, it's your decision, Chief. I should have probably bumped the stadium first, but I don't really care. I mean, I guess he's gonna have a hobby, I guess. I'll attach to the Terapagos, retreat into the Mew, bench you just so I have more draw, restart for 2. Nice, we can get a Gimmighoul down now. Then that at the hand as well, and we were genome hacking. Copy Rapid Fire combo. Come on, double heads. Double heads. Yes! Genome hacking for the win. We've not won yet, we've still got a long way to go, but that's brilliant. Get in. 3 prizes. Good job, Mew. That's why you're in the deck list. And technically, we could go for Game Mew on this Latias if we find Boss, because we could copy Eon Blade for game. That's just evil. Mew's putting in some work this game. I mean, copying Dark Feather is not on my bucket list, but still. Kang Absol. I think this guy's trying to make like an attempt on Tord Box, but it's not a very good attempt, I will say. I don't particularly like it, but if you leave this Latias in the active, you lose. Because I just copy Eon Blade. And that's game. Unless you can move off of Monkey Dory. You could do that. Send us the Surge, pop it to the Absol. That's fine. He's retreating, he knows the drill. Why are you giving me Kang? Why are you giving me Kang? And Energy Switch? You're going to Adrenabrain, okay. You don't need to put it on a Mew, but if you want to, you can, I guess. Okay. Run over for 2. Because if I copy 2, if I copy and get 2 heads again, you lose. I don't think I'm going to get another 2 heads, but we can try it, I guess. Alright. Let's see what we get. Noctowl. That's game. We just Noctowl for Boss and copy Eon Blade. No, we don't. Wouldn't it be better to boss the Absol and then Claw of Darkness them? I think it is. So we'll go for Noctowl. Jewel Seeker because of Terapagos in play. If we just do that, there's not much my opponent can do, I'll be honest. So we'll go Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Grab it. Actually, we'll split it. I can evolve the Dengo here, just so I have it. I won't bother drawing the 1, there's no point. I'll just bring up the Absol. Genome hacking, copy Claw of Darkness, and we'll have a look in that hand. Ooh, that's pretty good, but you can't use this right now, so get rid of that Crispin, boy. I don't want you top decking an Energy Switch. You get that out of here, my friend. I'm not worried about your unfair stamp. Could care less about your unfair stamp. You're giving me a Kang again. Do you really want to do that? Freaking New EX putting in so much work in this matchup, genuinely. That's crazy. Genuinely crazy. He's attaching Psychic to Absol. He could move off of Monkey, but it doesn't hugely matter. There's Sinister Surge. You know, if we top deck another boss, we just win. Which could happen. We could do it. We could technically do that. He is very close to losing, though, I will say. He needs to get... like, he needs to stop giving me Kang. You know, like, Kang is not going to help you here, my friend. He can start moving damage onto the Dango, I guess. Okay, you're going to Terminal Period me? Sure. I just superior for game with Terapagos. Still though, great job Mew. That's 4 prizes, and he even gives me a little emote. I'm not going to win. In fact, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with Moltres just to piss him off. I have to still superior anyway, so you can't call me for BMing. And, well, that's even better. We'll just Letter of Encouragement for it. Grab the Singular Energy. Attach to Moltres. And we will Fighting Wings for 110 and take game. There we go. Mew EX is clutch. And even Moltres got to do... well, I say he got to do something. Terapagos got it on it, but... you know. I had to superior either way, so you can't call me for BM in there, but... no, that was funny. Mew EX copying Dark Feather, freaking Kang double heads. That was brilliant. Really brilliant. I really enjoyed this deck. Like, obviously it did have a bit of a struggle against Charizard there, but, you know, like, most decks that obviously play Pokemon that can just be one-shot by Zard anyway do tend to struggle against Zard, but I digress. So, what did I think to the deck? This deck is really fun. I really enjoyed my time with this deck. Obviously, I think with a few changes, this list could be even better. I think the problem with this deck is that because it's not like, you know, it's not like regular sort of like Dengo, where obviously you have the fighting energy for a bit of extra draw. You'll also notice we had no draw supporters in this deck, which, again, that's something you could consider. The Firebreather engine, obviously we didn't get to use Firebreather in this video, but obviously if you want to check out, you know, it will be in the description below of the Firebreather Dengo version that I did. But ultimately, I don't think a lot needs to change, you know, like, I would like some draw support, even if it's just, like, 1 Lilies and 1 Iono, maybe. That could be pretty nice, or a Judge, maybe, would be probably a better solution, just so you have a little extra draw and consistency, as well as hand disruption, obviously. Other than that, I don't think a lot needs to really change. Like, I saw this list at first, featured by LDF, obviously he did a different version of it, and obviously I took inspiration from the Japanese list as well. But I wanted to play the Moltres just so we have an easier answer against, you know, like the grass decks. Obviously running around Bolt is also pretty good to have against because, you know, you can boss their Teal Masks and just take an easy 2 prizes. You know, like that I think is a good inclusion. The Moltres is a good inclusion here. But ultimately, I just think, you know, like, it's one of those decks that you don't think is going to work very well, but after a little bit of experimentation, it actually does. Obviously, learning the sequencing could be pretty tough for those that don't know Terra Box too well. But honestly, this list is really fun, and I really suggest giving it a try. But anyway, I'm going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Gholdengo Terra Box, and I will see you next time.